Hola muchachos and muchachas, it is I, Luann, and I'm here with some Valentine cards. I recently purchased the entire set of Spectrum Noir markers, and I have been practicing up a storm. So these are the cards that I've made for Valentine's. I didn't want to waste a lot of my effort trying to figure out what goes or what colors go with what. I did that for a little bit, and I did buy the paper that Spectrum Noir suggested, which I believe is Anita paper, and I actually bought the 250 paper pack and I split it with another coworker who has these markers, so we only had to pay for half of it. But I didn't want to waste that, precious paper, because all the paper is precious to us. So I only practiced on one sheet, and then I figured, let me just jump in and just start doing these images, because if I don't do it now, I will just wait and wait and wait, and then all my ink will be gone, and that's not cheap. So these are the cards that I've made. There's quite a few. The paper pack that I used for the base of the cards are some paper that I got a couple of years ago from Target at the dollar spot. This was when I first started making cards. I didn't think the type of paper would matter, so I figured, ooh, scrapbooking paper, this would be great. But when I got it, I realized that it was super thin. Like, it was copy paper thin. Like, copy paper thin. So this is one of the dollar papers that were in the pack. And there's this one, and a couple of others. Actually, there's another, and this glitter one. I think those are the only three that I used from that, dollar pack. The rest of the paper pack is last year's Valentine King Company paper pack that I bought and I never used. I think I made tags for my daughter's daycare, and that was it. I just put it away and never used it again. So I used a lot of digital images for this one, and I'm gonna name off where I got them from or where they're from. So this is my first one, and this cute little kitty cat. This is a cute little kitty cat. She or he comes in a set of 4, and she is from We Stamps. And I used the grays and the coral and I think the light yellow. I don't know. I think I did light yellow with green or something. But there's that one. And then I have here monkeys from Pink Cat Studio. I like the colors that I chose for this image. However, I do not like how the coloring came out. I tried to shadow with 2 colors and it wasn't working. And although the coloring area is not big, see my pinky for reference? I noticed that, you see this in a lot of the other, review tutorial or review videos on the Spectrum Noir or the tutorial videos on the markers, that if you let the ink dry and you go back to do shading, it doesn't look good. It looks kind of like a watermark, which you can kind of see right there. Maybe you can kind of see it, that little spot on the monkey's butt by the tail. So I tried to, do my light shade and then in just small chunks. I'm talking like pinky-sized chunks. And then go back into the dark one and then go back and, blend it in with the lighter one. And it just wasn't working the way I wanted to. And it was only with the browns. I only had a problem with this, actually not the browns, just with this image. And I think it was because of how the heads were shaped. Had a problem with coloring the heads because I had to keep alternating sides. Because if I left one side dry up, you'd get the watermark when I went back. So I couldn't start on one end and go all the way around, because then I would eventually end up with a whole bunch of watermarks. And if you have the markers, you'll know that once you color in an image and it kind of dries up a little bit and you go back over it again, it doesn't look smooth. It has a weird texture to it. It does not look smooth. So here's this one. I love the image. I love the colors that I chose for it. However, I just need to figure out how to do the blending for this particular image. Some images are easier than others. I have this little bunny here, and this bunny was from Digital Delights. Yes, Digital Delights. My cute little bunny. I need more. I tried to work the red. The red is really hard because the dark reds, I think it's the CRs. No, is it the CRs? No, I can't remember. I don't know what the numbers or the coding. I don't know them by heart yet. I think it's, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to guess, but the reds are pretty close to each other. And if they're not close to each other, they're significantly different. So I tried to work them, and I need a little bit more work with the red. Like you can't see it on the camera, but it does have a little bit of a shading. You can see the darker outline around the heart, but it's not significant. This image here, I used actually my Prismacolor pencils on this one. I'd started doing, actually there's two of them that I used, my Prismacolor pencils, that I started to just kind of play around with it, and I realized that at that point I realized I really need to use my markers, because if I don't, they're just going to dry up on their own without any use. So this is a little raccoon, my cute little raccoon. And here's another one with color pencils, and this is 3 different images from Digital Delights. The raccoon was also Digital Delights. I love this tree. I got this tree and then a tree with eggs on it for Easter. And I actually cut out the images by importing them into my Silhouette software, and I outlined it and I cut it out. Sorry, I don't know what I did. I don't know what tabs that I went to. I mean, I know what I did in my head. I just don't remember what the buttons were or the keys were that I went to get this done. But I created an outline for it, and then I created an offset cutting line, I guess you would call it, to give it a little bit of a border, so I didn't have to cut it out by hand, because I am not a fussy cutter. So there's that one, and then you might be able to kind of tell. No, maybe no. I sprayed it with homemade mist. It's a little glimmery, but you can't really tell on camera. Here's another one, and this image is from Pink Cat Studio, and this one's going to my daughter. I need to work with her hair a little bit more. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with this one. I just started coloring and decided that I was going to do it wrong, so I just continued to do it wrong. I like her dress, I just don't like her hair. I need to rework her hair. So there's that one. And this one is one of my favorite images. This is Ragged Romeo from Mo's Digital Pencil. Look at how cute this little teeny tiny couple is. So cute. I absolutely love this one, except for I messed up the little heart on her dress. I was a little leery with I went out and purchased so many digital images, and I was worried because the ink on the printer, they smear. With the alcohol markers, they totally smear. So when you have things that are so detailed, like the little headband she has here, or like the shoes where it's a lot of ink, if you don't like dot it, you have to color it with like a dotting motion so that you don't smear the ink. And sometimes the ink will go on your marker, so you have to be careful that you don't spread it onto the rest of your image, which is what I did right underneath that ribbon, but you can't tell because it's really, really light. So that's the only thing you have to be careful with when you're using your digital images. And here's another one that I did. It's a swak stamp, the engaged one. Try to work with the reds on this one here too, and this one did have some shadowing and it blended well, but I need to work with this one a little bit more. I really wanted his hair to be a little bit darker, but I was too afraid. This was actually the first one that I did, and I was afraid to do more with his hair because I didn't want to mess it up. So I just left it alone. And here is another of my favorites. This image is from the Paper Shelter. So cute. And I was actually really happy with how this one turned out. The little shack with the shading. Sorry, let me see if you can See that there? The shading and her hair. I absolutely loved her hair, and his hair had the shadow, a little bit of the shadow in it. I was afraid with the hair on this one too. I'm afraid with blonde hair because I think that I can mess that up really easily if I don't do it right. Because I didn't want it to look, you know, too unnatural. Because, you know, these colors can become very unnatural if you mix them incorrectly. But I really love the way these two came out. And I think I don't know if I mentioned, I tried to write down the colors that I used for all of my images. I stopped at some point, but I think I did write down what I used for most of them. And this one, again, it's my little Ragged Romeo, and this is my favorite, my all-time favorite. I love how this entire image came out. The colors, the blending, his hair has texture. His hair looks curly. It looks curly. And I was so happy. Oh, I don't think you can tell in the video, but his hair, let me see. I just love how his hair came out. This is like my raving hair here. And the grays, I love how his pants came out. You know, there's no distinct, what do I want to say? There isn't a bold color that stands out. The grays, the way I did this here, they just blend perfectly well. You don't see, you know, a darker gray that's kind of, you know, popping out. It's seamless and it blends, and I love it. I love it. Not like his hat, with his hat you can, you know, see the darker spots where I intended it to be, you know, a lot darker. So this is my favorite one. Then I have this one, and this is 3 different digital images from 3 different places. The little monkey is from Meljens Designs. The suitcases are from, oh my god, Tiddly Inks. And the little girl, I'm sure most of you will recognize from LaLa Land. And these are all, again, digital images. And I imported all of these onto my Silhouette software, and it was the PNGs that I imported because they have they don't have that white background, except for the monkey. The monkey, some of the, okay, I'm going to kind of go into this a little bit. Some of the digital images, you have I think the JPEG and the PNG. The PNG is no white background. Some people actually do the image without the white background on the outside, not on the inside of the image. This monkey was completely, pretty much see-through. The only thing you were able to see was the outline. So when I placed this monkey on top of the suitcase, you can see through his tail onto the suitcase. So I actually had to import the regular I think it was a JPEG. Import the JPEG and then erase the outline, and that was a little tedious. So I did that, and then I was able to put it on top of the suitcase. The little girl, she came with you know, no background, and she doesn't have. Sorry, she came with her PNG came without the white outline. The inside of her was white. So when I placed her on top of the suitcases, you know, it covered up the suitcases. So the suitcases didn't print through her, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense to most of you, or to some of you. So once I layered them all together, I resized, you know, to how I wanted them to be. I just printed it and cut her out. Thought that was pretty neat. The only tedious part was trying to cut out the outline for the monkey, and I did a trace on him, and then I had to fix his hat because his hat kind of went into the little lines on the inside. So that was the only thing that I had to really play with. There's this one, almost done. I actually have these 2 images that I haven't placed onto a card yet, and these 2 images are from Meljens Designs. These 2 little bears. I love the little bears. This little guy's eating a cookie. You can see it on his mouth. And this one, he's rooting for someone. It says number 1 right there. Maybe for his girl. There's these 2. And with the red, you can kind of tell on the flag. Again, it was just me playing with the reds. You can't really, oh, you can tell a little bit right there. It didn't blend very well, along with the glove. I wasn't happy about that, but I like the way the bear came out because, you know, he has texture. And I absolutely love the texture. This one too, I used a lighter color for this one. Bears have texture. They're furry. And this is another one of my favorite ones. It's very, very simple. These are 3 different images. These are from Tiddly inks, all 3 of them. I think it's either 2 or separate stamp sets. I'm pretty sure it's 2. Or digital stamp sets. It might be 3, but I'm pretty sure it's 2. And again with this one, because her inside was white, I was able to place her on top of the little heart garden, and it covered up the flowers because I wanted her to be in front of them. And a little phrase there. And I actually really like this. Is one of the last ones that I did, and I think my blending was really good with this one. I think I might be getting a little bit better, but again, practice makes perfect. And I did another flowers. I did shading on my flowers too. And on these little flowers up here too, I tried to do that as well. And now to my last one, which is this one. And this one is from, this was a rubber stamp from the Greeting Farm. This is Fancy Anya. And this is also one of, I think this is one of the middle ones that I did, and I had a really hard time with the blues. You can probably tell. I don't like how the blending wasn't very seamless. The 2 blues that I thought would go together, excuse me, they didn't go together, so I had to quickly grab another blue to try to make it work. It looks alright, but I'm not completely happy with it. Like, I'm not 100% happy with it. I don't know if you can tell, maybe, I don't know. So these are my cards. I am going to be doing more cards because halfway through everything I realized that I was putting I love you and crush and all these other, you know, kisses, pucker up buttercup, and I had been practicing and making them to give out for work for my juniors, you know, for Valentine's Day. I wanted to do like a little basket with goodies or something, or make them a cake or something. And I really can't give them anything that says I love you because that's just weird. So I'm going to have to make some, you know, friendly, you know, I don't know, friendly Valentine cards that doesn't involve, you know, me loving them or them being my Valentine, because I already have my Valentine. I have 3 of them, my husband and my kids. So these are my cards. I will be making more, and hopefully I will post them. I will post all of the places where I got my digital images. I'm not going to go into detail as to what images are from where. A lot of people have really, really, really great digital images, and the last one that I really recently ran into was the Meljens designs. She has so many cute things, and everything is 20% off right now until the end of the month. And after your first purchase in your email, you will get a little surprise for a additional 15% off. So I need to go back and get some more stuff. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and again, I will post all of the places that I got the images. If you have any questions on the color combinations that I've used, you know, shoot me a comment. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. As I mentioned earlier, I did try to write down all of the color combos that I used. So hopefully that might help someone. I had a really hard time trying to figure out what colors go together, and there aren't very many videos out there that go into detail. There are a couple that do have their own combinations, which are great. I have used some of those, but some of them I didn't think went, in my opinion, for what I'm looking for, it didn't achieve what I needed it to. So again, thanks for watching, and hasta luego.